so brave. Your helmets, yeah, so bright, Dear friends, check it out, the city's safe. We all feel safe at night. Police, they keep us safe. You know they give us their heart and their might. And all through the day, hey, they make everything alright.
I can be anything that I can dream. Every possibility is open to me. I can be anything that I can dream. Anything I want to be. I can be anything.
Pilots soar up in the sky. They fly into the clouds. They spread their wings so wide they make us feel so proud. The dancers, they do twists and turns and move so gracefully. It's something that we all can learn. Come on, everybody, dance with me.
I can be anything that I can dream. Every possibility is open to me. I can be anything that I can dream. Anything I want to be. I can be anything. Teachers guide us to grow and help to feed the mind. They teach us the things we know and how to be kind. Whichever path I choose, I know I'll land on my feet. It seems like my future is looking pretty sweet. I can be anything that I can dream. Every possibility is open to me. I can be anything that I can dream. Anything I want to be. I can be anything. I can be anything that I can dream. Every possibility is open to me. I can be anything that I can dream. Anything I want to be. I can be anything.
All right. Welcome back to season 3 of Wednesday Watch. I'm Donna Guerin, founder of Global Lighthouse Studios. We connect teachers and students around the world through the lens of music and the arts. Joined here today by my co-host,
Dan Roeder from David Z Foundation. I'm the Chief Academic Officer, and we transform lives through the magic of music. And we are delighted to have with us Dr. Joseph Meany.
Hey there, everybody.
Yes, welcome. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you and your background and your relation to space, since we are celebrating World Space Week.
Absolutely happy to. So yes, I'm Dr. Joseph Meany. I'm a material scientist and chemist by day, and then by night I'm on the directorship of the Interstellar Research Group, a space advocacy organization focused on the advancement of humans into and beyond the solar system.
Fantastic. Well, that's why this song I thought was so perfect, because, you know, first of all, I love kindergarten, but this was our school that David Z Foundation and I work with in Chicago, Johnnie Colemon Elementary, and these were the kindergartners there. And I love that they said you could be anything, right? And so I thought might be apropos today to talk a little bit about some of the careers that you can have in the space industry, since I know that there's so many.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, as I was listening to this, the song reminded me a lot of the music videos and songs that came out of things like the old Bill Nye shows that I grew up on, and the Magic School Bus. You know, really leaning into the fact that we control our own individual destinies, and with a little bit of imagination, we can go into anything that we want. And they had a lot of great examples there that they called out, especially in the sciences. But I liked also that they highlighted, being a dancer or a barista, displaying a passion for something is really what helps make the most out of life. And that kind of reminds me a little bit of my own journey. Um, Even though I'm involved in space now, that always wasn't necessarily a given, and it took a little bit of imagination to try to get there. And to give a quick example, when I was a child, my parents would have to just basically tear the Life magazines out of my hands that had the astronauts on the covers. We couldn't just buy every single magazine from the grocery store that showed astronauts in space and space shuttles. Um, and so from an early age, I was always fascinated about space travel. But then as I got into high school and college, I found that I wasn't quite as good at physics as would have been required to pursue an astrophysics or an engineering background that would have gotten me directly involved within space. And that was a bit of a shock to me, um, to come back around to that realization. But when I got involved with chemistry and material science, I was able to apply a little bit of imagination, a little bit of creative thinking. And when I realized, well, space shuttles have to be made out of something, astronaut suits have to be made out of something, they have to eat up there, right? And so that all involves some kind of chemistry aspect. Um, and so then I kind of leaned into the research direction of what don't we know about space? How do we keep people safe? And that's what led me down the road of eventually becoming a space sustainability scientist.
Wow, that's fascinating. And like you said, it's the journey is part of the destination, right? So
Hmm.
I know for my own family, my daughter actually is currently an aerospace engineer, and she has an article she cut out in fifth grade, and she said, "I'm going to do something in the space industry." So there's so many different ways, like you said, to get involved in the space industry, and bringing in that arts and music piece. That's kind of what Global Lighthouse Studios is going to be doing with the Lady Rocket Foundation. We're going to be, kind of jumpstarting the idea of arts and music and fashion, and taking all of those elements and bringing in the space industry and putting that all together. So, and Dan, you look like you wanted to say something there.
Well, it's always so much, but yeah, I was just thinking. I remember some of those magazines you were describing, and I just remember always this one that I think is still somewhere in our attic. It's an Isaac Asimov cover, and it has this family sitting around a table in a car with this circular car, and it's self-driving. And I'm just reflecting, like, wow, that was in the 80s. I saw this, and then I think just tying it to the song, when you start just manifesting something, and you start behaving like it's already happening, that's how we move forward, and it's how we explore beyond. So that's become one of my favorite words now recently, is the word beyond, because when I learn something, I just think to myself, great, all right, what's next? What's beyond? So
I love
yeah,
that.
but wonderful to have you here.
Yeah, and that's absolutely a great attitude to have, because beyond opens up so many opportunities, and it's the opportunities, kind of that they were talking about in the song, of being able to be anything. um and when it comes to you know overlapping science and the arts and the involvement within space, I mean, it's going to be such a huge undertaking, to move from the cradle that is the earth. I mean, right? It was a huge undertaking just to, understand and explore the totality of this planet that we're naturally predisposed to living on. And now, if we want to move in beyond into an area that we're not predisposed to live within, there's a huge risk there. Um, but then that also opens up a lot of communications opportunities for why this is important. And, the the stereotype of the stodgy scientist is held for a reason, but when they get together and collaborate with somebody that, you know, can translate a lot of those anxieties, translate a lot of those fears and understandings into a language that's universally accessible, that's where artists, that's where musicians really shine. And and you know, turning the beauty and the majesty that is our universe into something that people can understand. It doesn't have to be just pretty pictures that we see on the internet, but when we, you know, can really hammer down the great lessons that the universe out there can teach us about our own home, is incredibly important for getting people to buy into why all this exploration is important in the first place.
That was so well said. And so maybe you could just tell us a little about the QR code that we see before us, about the I can't even say that, Interstellar Symposium.
Yeah, so briefly, the Interstellar Research Group actually formed out of a group of science fiction fans that had been going to science fiction conventions, you know, as they were all growing up. You mentioned Isaac Asimov and Frank Herbert and all of the other big authors of the um, mid to late 20th century, and they said, why don't we've got this group of engineers and nerds and scientists all hanging out together, and we all love this stuff, but, you know, what if we put pen to paper and actually start moving the ball on these hard questions? And so that's how the Interstellar Research Group formed. um, and it became immediately clear off the bat that anything of this nature is going to require a level of buy-in and from the broader society, right? And so we understand from the beginning that the arts and humanities need to be a part of the conversations, because everyone's going to be asking tough questions that aren't just about propulsion. They're not just going to be about tweaking the temperature on the space habitat, but it's like, what does it actually mean to live off world, and what evolution is going to be um, like as we move away from the surface of the planet. And so every other year, IRG puts on a scholarly symposium that moves all around the country in conjunction with universities around the country. And we gather to talk about hard problems, not that we face in the immediate sense from an interstellar perspective, but just how do we put the interstellar flavor onto the problems that we face as a society now, to think about them and reframe them from a long perspective, and not necessarily pin ourselves down to the troubled, well, uh, pin ourselves down to the way that things are now, right? You know, allow our
Right.
creativity to flow, to think about problems in a new way.
Great.
Yeah, no, exactly. Bringing innovation in, and I always like to check the QR codes, and for some reason, this QR code is not leading to the right place. But it is leading actually to an interesting discussion on space with Lady Rocket. I'll put this. Let me hide it for now. This, tech in real time. I'll post the link just so people can check it out. But it is the irg.space. So it's fairly easy to find if you just go to irg.space. Maybe the QR code will update and work, but just wanted to give that little technical note. But yeah, just that it's so amazing to be living in this time of innovation where we don't have to settle for what is in front of us. And the youth, I'm so excited to see them really living into that in the programs that we do around the world. They don't really want to accept that things need to stay the same, because it's been the same for many, many years. And there's a whole universe out there. So this is just an exciting time where reality is meeting science fiction. So it's interesting to look at the trends in science fiction. Like, I grew up watching Star Trek and Star Wars, and now seeing how much of that is reality. You know, when you walk in your house, you can say, whoever your AI is, turn on the lights, you know, just like in Star Trek, they say computer, you know. So it's really fascinating to actually be living in that in real time.
Yeah, and it's a great way that the feedback loop, right? The Imagineers of today inform the engineers of tomorrow, right? And so the arts have a really strong way to inform the way that students now will become professionals later and change those paradigms for us.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes. Sorry, I was trying to see if I could mess with the QR code, but like you said, yeah.
I'm putting up a new one, so it's all good.
Yes.
We're starting from scratch.
Right.
You know, we're
All right.
innovating. We're doing an experiment and
That's
making data-driven decisions. So all
I
this
love
in
it.
real time.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts before we watch the behind the scenes to take us out?
I just wanted to mention that IRG has a scholarship program active now, and we'll have links all available to you. And you can find all the information that you need at irg.space.
Perfect. Thank you
I
so
love
much.
that website. And here it is. Here's the real. Donna, you can try this one. I just deleted the other one entirely, so this one I know works.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
you mentioned that there are applications for scholarships too. And just looking at that post-secondary option, as a former high school teacher, it's so important to just let students know these resources are out there. Because again, it's easy to fall into the same patterns as parents, as educators, as community members, to think that everything is kind of the same, you know, with post-secondary education. But that is changing. It's a very quickly changing landscape as well. And so there's just so much that I think I'm really excited to dig into with Interstellar Research Group. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming today, and continue to celebrate World Space Week with us. And without further ado, let's watch my favorite part.
Here we go, behind the scenes. And I'm gonna, if I can, if we can figure out the real estate, I'd like to leave these websites up just because the right one wasn't up for super long.
This is the behind the scenes in case you've never seen the show before, Dr. Meany, and this is my favorite part of the show because you get to see how the music is made. So,
all right, here we go. So last time we were talking about the song being about all the things we can do for a career, for a job, when we grow up, however we want to think about it. I'm going to write the words I want to be.
I want to do when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut. Because I want to go in outer space.
you want to go in outer space. Okay.
So I can visit new places.
What if I had like looks like it's red and it like have a badge on it.
With helmets so bright. You know how they're like bright and shiny?
Is what? If they say today everything is all
Great.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Ooh, I heard it. Hello. And what do you want to do, or what do you want to be?
I want to be a police officer. I want to be a ballerina. And I want to be a police and a fireman and a race car driver.
You have aspirations, my friend.
And get a haircut like you.
And did you say get a haircut like me?
A policeman. I want to be a race car driver. And I want to be a painter. I want to be a butterfly. I want to be a captain driver to drive a boat. I want to be a plane driver.
Well, it was so great to talk to all of you today, and I will see you in a few days, and that's the plan for our song, okay? And
I
keep
say
thinking
thank
about
you.
the things you want to do and the things you want to be.
So, students, it is so good to be here in person and not seeing you on the other side of Zoom. I always love this day when I get to actually see you in the room and see you are wonderful, breathing human beings. I can be anything. That I can dream. Every possibility is open to me.
I can be anything that I can dream. You can sing beautiful and you can scream because you can do anything.
Not scream. You can, but not for this song. Some songs you can scream, but not this one. Anything I want to be, I can be anything. Like
Tayden said a firefighter. Kendall K said a teacher. CJ said a police officer. Isaiah said an astronaut. LD said a baker. Martez said a pilot. Addison said a builder. Starbucks worker or entrepreneur.
So it makes my kids so excited to come to school. So if they could have something outside of reading to do, and so arts is their excitement for the day. So if they have fine arts going on, I know they're coming to school. So as a result, my kids come to school 98% of the time.
98% attendance record?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
that's what I
Yeah.
said.
Yes, that's
We
huge.
have bands, guitar bands, rock bands. They like to dance. They like all of that to perform. So they lead my school. I do not.
Yeah.
Well, it teaches them how to work together. They can see the talent and the strengths that everybody is a valued member, especially at Coleman. And so, for instance, our kids don't get suspended. And so maybe 2 kids are suspended a year, and that's because they are engaged. And so engaged kids stay in school. Well, first of all, we ask our kids their opinion and what is it they like and what would make them come to school. And they give us so make sure our kid voices are engrossed in the culture of the school, and find out what they like, and what they like, make it happen for them. He's our one-man music department. So he does it. He makes us engaged and excited about music. So again, our kids are so excited. If kids don't have instruments, he go and find the instruments for them. That way they can practice at home. And so our kids are so talented because Mr. Johnson makes it possible. Thank you, Mr. Jagger.
David Foundation.